Hi everybody, and welcome back to our Ninja Therapist YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over anxiety disorders as far as how they impact the body. And this is something that we've been asked to show a couple of times by people who read the blog and people who've been to seminars as well as patients. So I think it's very important if you or someone you love suffers from anxiety that you understand what your body actually does when you become anxious. The more you know, the better off you're going to be. So I'm going to show you what your body does when it gets anxious. Some of this may happen to you, all of it may happen to you. It doesn't really matter. But what you do need to know is when this starts, it's like that, okay? As soon as your brain understands that you think you're in danger, it doesn't take the time to figure out whether you actually are in danger or you're not. It simply says, oh my gosh, we're in danger, we need to be safe. And then it starts to activate something called the central nervous system to keep you safe. So here's kind of what happens. All right, so here's you. Ta-da. Yay, there you are. All right. Oops, let's fix your little brain there, okay? So ta-da. Here's something fun. Every single upsetting thought that you have typically starts right in your brain. So ba-bum, brain. Ta-da. So the brain basically says to itself, uh-oh, we're in danger, there's something wrong. The second that it thinks something is wrong, it's going to start talking to your entire body to tell it that it needs to do something to keep you safe. So let's look at the first thing that it does. Okay. Let's grab our red marker here. Okay, the first thing it needs to do is it needs to activate your heart. Okay, and why does it do that? The reason it does that is because the heart is basically the engine of your body. Your heart gets your body moving, it gets your body safe. If the brain thinks that the body is in danger, the heart has to get moving faster so you can get far away from the danger if you need to. Okay, so this is your engine. Okay, dun dun dun. Engine. Now you guys know all engines need a battery. So in our bodies, we have the lungs. Okay, ta-da, here's your lungs. All those cool things inside your lungs. And the lungs are the battery. So what that means is your lungs have to work a certain way to get your heart to pump fast. Think of it like what happens when you run really fast. When you run really fast, it's not like you're taking deep breaths. You're going to take shallow breaths. Okay, in and out, in and out, in and out. If you're nice and calm, you can take nice deep breaths and your body slows down. So your heart right now, what it wants to do is it wants to beat really, really, really fast. So in order for it to beat fast, your lungs have to breathe really shallow and rapidly. So, okay, that's going to make your heart go pump, 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 pump. Once your heart starts going, it's going to do this really cool thing where it starts to activate all of your nerve endings. So think of it like getting your blood flowing fast, 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 all right? Sometimes when the blood starts to go really quick, a couple of different things can happen. For some people, they get hives, all right? So all of a sudden, you get covered in little red dots, which is not very fun. And that's because of something called a cortisol effect. That's what happens when your adrenal glands pump off because your heart's going really fast. That can be really itchy and uncomfortable. So you could have a strange rash that comes out of nowhere. You don't really know what happened. And basically, it's just because you got really super anxious. Other people might feel like there's bugs on them, or they may just feel very hot. Some people start to get red all around their face, and part of that is because the blood is pumping faster, so your blood pressure goes up, okay? Another fun thing that happens. As all of this blood is coursing through your body, and it's gonna go really fast, you're gonna have some trouble hearing, okay? So let's pretend that's a big old cotton ball in your ear. What happens is in your ear, you have those three little bitty parts, right, that help you to hear. If those parts are surrounded by tissue that's full of blood, it makes it harder for them to work. So what's going to happen is your hearing is going to be impacted. You're going to have more trouble hearing. It's going to kind of seem like if you had like a pair of earmuffs on like this, so you can make out sound, but you can't actually really hear it. The other problem is you're not going to have a ton of echolocation. So what that means is I can't tell where sounds are coming from. So for an example, if you got lost in a store and you were looking for someone who was calling your name, you might hear your name but not know where it's coming from because you're panicking. It makes it really, really hard to hear. If you're a student in class and you start to panic, it might be harder to pay attention to the teacher or to understand what the teacher's saying. Here's the next fun thing that happens. Okay, so here's your cool eyeball, all right? Something interesting happens to your sight when you start to become very anxious. What happens is basically your pupils dilate slightly. And what that means is they get a little bit bigger. So your field of vision changes. You're going to have more trouble seeing things in the peripheral, so things on the sides of your vision. And the reason that happens, guys, is because when you get anxious, it's important for you to be able to get away from whatever is making you scared. You don't want to be looking at everything to the left and the right. You want to just see straight where your exit is. So you're going to focus on the middle. So the things outside of the focus, so to the left or the right, are going to get blurry. What that could mean for you is the sides of your vision might become blurry or dark or smoky. I've had people tell me it's almost like there's a mist that's coming in on me. And sometimes that's going to make you feel like the walls are closing in, which is not a good feeling. Now, if you couple this with the trouble with the hearing, what you're going to find too is your equilibrium is going to be off. So you're going to feel dizzy. Okay? And if you're the kind of person who passes out when they're dizzy, it's really important that you get low to the ground and make sure you're not going to hit your head if you do actually pass out, right? So we've got a couple of things going on here, guys. We've got temperature going up. I've got air coming rapidly in and out of the body. So a few things that happen. Let's take a peek at your nasal passages. So air comes in your nose as well as your mouth and goes down. Because you've got an increase in temperature going on, plus a lot of movement in terms of what the air is doing, it's going to release some of your mucous membranes. Kind of gross, right? So what that means is for some people, they're going to go constantly because they have a little bit of this postnasal drip. That can make your throat a little sore. It also makes your mouth sometimes dry and can make your tongue swell a little bit. So if you're somebody who has a stutter, your stutter can become more pronounced. So this is coming down. It's going to make us maybe even cough a little bit. It creates this grand finale effect. So remember, I've got lungs going very quickly, breathing in and out. I've got a heart pounding in my chest. I'm going to kind of feel like, ooh, here we go. There's a big old belt right around me, okay? So a belt that's tightening and tightening and tightening. Let's give it a little more color. Let's see here. So think of it like this, okay? So if I had a belt that was right around me and I just kept making it tighter and tighter and tighter, it would be harder and harder to breathe. And the reason it feels tight is because you're breathing rapidly in and out with those lungs while your chest is kind of pounding. If you're a kid and this is happening and you're sleeping, you might think there's something sitting on your chest. For a lot of kids who have night terrors, they think there's a monster or something awful sitting on their chest. That's not what it is, but it feels like that. When you're reclined and your chest is moving in and out really fast, it feels like there's something sitting right here. It's very, very uncomfortable. So this is the grand finale, as it were. So as this is all happening, this is your stomach. Now, your brain has told you that you're in danger, and your heart is moving quickly so that your body is ready to go. So by now, your body says, all right, we can probably get away from the danger. We shouldn't have a big old stomach full of food. That's not a good idea. So your stomach is naturally going to start releasing stomach acid. Okay? Stomach acid is going to break down anything in your stomach. Now, if you just ate a burger, yum, 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 we can get rid of that burger, right? But most people who are anxious don't eat a lot. So I've just got an empty stomach with tons of acid. That's a big problem. And when I work with clinicians, guys, I teach them that if people are telling you they're having stomach issues, that's when you know you need to get in there, because that tells you either the anxiety is extremely strong or it's been around for a while because we're having the stomach effect. The stomach acid goes one of three places. So stomach acid can go up, okay? That's when you throw up, okay? Or you have kind of those yucky, gassy burps. It goes down, that's stomach pain, intestinal difficulty, kids who feel like they have to go to the bathroom all the time, or adults who are constantly in the bathroom as well. Or it sticks around. And basically it just burns a hole right in your stomach. That's called an ulcer. Nobody wants to deal with that. It's important that people understand how their body responds to anxiety, because as soon as you notice one of these symptoms, that's when you need to use one of your tools. Okay? Don't wait until everything's already happened. This is your body's way of talking to you and saying to you, okay, something's wrong and I need to fix it. As soon as you see one of these symptoms, it's really important that you start using your tools. Because this right here is the battery, okay? So your lung is your battery. And then I've got my heart that's an engine. If we're gonna cut the engine, we need to cut that battery, right? The best thing you can do if you're starting to panic is to flood your lungs with oxygen. If you do that, your body has to slow down. It does. It's just physiology, guys. So if I flood the lungs with oxygen, the heart starts to beat slower. That's why everyone is going to tell you to take a deep breath. It's not some weird hippy-dippy thing. We do it for a reason. It'll slow the heart down. It'll slow down this whole process. It'll help you to relax and use your tools. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And this is the Ninja Therapist saying have a great day, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks.